Hello and welcome to Web3 Fundraising, September numbers with me, Anna from Outlier Ventures. So we're doing this to look into how the COVID pandemic is impacting Web3 companies and their fundraising efforts, as well as looking into the fundraising dynamics, because we do have quite a bit of freedom and creativity in the industry, especially in the past 2 months. So let's look into September. September is actually still going pretty strong, despite the markets cooling off after the 2 months of DeFi frenzy. Even last month, we're seeing quite a bit of token sales. So it sounds like the public has taken a little bit of a break, but still the industry raised almost $230 million across 97 deals. 97 deals is usually about 3 times of what we do a month. Which is a pretty big spike. So despite even these slow markets, we have still done more in 1 month than we've done in the entire second quarter of 2020, which is a testament to strong market fundamentals and an increasing interest in what Web3 is offering. About half of the deals were in decentralized finance and fintech. This is basically continuing the trend for 2020. This is the year of decentralized finance, which is pretty much a test bed for all sorts of financial system and fintech experimentation. The community has kind of taken a very opposite approach to what normal fintechs do when it comes to compliance and regulation. So some very interesting things are coming out of this. And then we have seen funding across another 25 verticals. Normally we'd see between 10 and 15 verticals. So again, this month has been packed full of very interesting things, including NFTs, ledgers, healthcare, middleware, infrastructure, analytics, databases, and more. We can see that equity investors are still looking at infrastructure as a problematic space. So people are still developing and building up on it. As we've seen with the past 2 months with Ethereum, its scalability is not exactly there yet. So we still have a pretty long way to go when it comes to middleware as well. So NFTs are also quite interesting because they are appearing with about 3 or 4 deals, which is still quite strong because about a year ago, nobody knew about NFTs or nobody was actually quite interested in this. Whereas now quite a few people are looking into them. Probably not a lot of even crypto native VCs will be funding this in the next 1 or 2 months. But people are definitely researching, looking at it, speaking with artists, speaking with founders. And after all, there are about over 25 use cases for this Ethereum standard. So quite a bit of innovation is coming our way. So as I mentioned, fintech and decentralized finance is attracted about half of the deal making in September. We saw a range of different niches, including exchanges, decentralized finance infrastructure, asset management, payments, trading, liquidity, banking, and so on. It is quite interesting to see actually exchanges still going strong because we've seen quite a few efforts in the decentralized exchange space where Uniswap is pretty much the leader. And exchanges is a market where they do tend to lean towards natural monopoly. So we'll be quite interested to see how so many companies fighting for pretty much the same market are going to fare in the long term. Definitely an exciting space. When it comes to infrastructure, as I mentioned, scalability is not it's not that strong yet. So we can't really get the amount of users that we need to make decentralized finance mainstream. So quite a bit of people are funding different types of payment rails. For example, like onboarding and offboarding from fiat to crypto and so on. So it's quite a bit of things needed around there as well. Asset management is also a new category that's increased quite significantly this month. Normally would see about 1 or 2 deals, and now we're seeing about more than 5 done in the span of 1 month, which is a testament to people looking to park more and more of their savings into digital asset, which requires quite a bit of active management. At least we're still in the early days. As mentioned, equity investors are still betting on the DLT disrupting the financial system. Quite a bit of corporate investors are still looking at the space, as we mentioned last month. Some of the most active investors include CMT Digital, CMS Holdings, and CME Ventures. So it is very, very positive to see such institutional adoption. Actually, we are very soon releasing our thesis around institutional finance and decentralized finance and how the two are actually going to coincide. So you should definitely look out for the Outlier Ventures post for this. As we mentioned, equity investors are quite active in the market. So equities actually attracted almost all of the funding this month. Normally, when I say normally, I mean the past 2 months, we'll see about 70-30 split when it comes to tokens to equity. But this month, people reverted back. As a result, the median raise is sitting quite low at about 1.4 million. Normally, it would be about 2.5-3 million. So definitely there is a focus towards earlier stage deals this month. So last month there was more money flowing to less deals, whereas this month we're seeing less money flowing to more deals. Some people may say this is a flight to quality, but for me it's just angels and pre-seed investors being a little bit more active than usual, with the growth stage investors taking a little bit more time to due diligence startups. It's quite interesting to see that we still had Series A, Series B deals. We actually had 5 M&A deals as well, which is more than what we normally get. And equity crowdfunding was also quite popular with 3 companies. This is normally one of the most difficult ways of raising capital. So props to these 3 companies, because this takes a long time and a lot of prep to do it properly. And then Europe is actually leading the way with over 123 million and 40 deals. So Europe has basically attracted almost half of the deals and half of the money in crypto globally. And this is not really a one-off event. We've seen this with the past 2 months, where Europe was attracting slightly more than the US and Canada, but this month it totally eclipsed it. So North America did 36 deals compared to Europe's 40 deals, but also they're sitting at about half the capital committed, which is a testament that in Europe we can actually do later stage investments. We can have growth stage companies doing decent raises and decent valuations, and having very good growth without necessarily leaving the continent. So yeah, this is great news, because Europe kind of lagged behind on Web 1. The industry worked very hard for Web 2 to catch up within Silicon Valley, and finally within Web 3 we're actually the leaders in this. What's interesting, actually, the UK managed to capture about 19% of all European funding, and is sitting at 15 deals and about $45 million dollars of all capital committed to Europe. And this is being despite London being the financial capital of Europe. So some very interesting dynamics happening on the mainland continent. And then, as you may know, we are running the BaseCamp Accelerator 3 times a year. So now we are preparing for the winter edition for 2021. Our applications are open. They're open until the end of October, but we are due diligencing, reviewing, and offering to teams on a rolling basis. We are going to accept up to 10 companies in the cohort. So if you're thinking of applying, do it as soon as possible. We are looking for teams at the pre-seed stage, so we don't necessarily require a product. We're fine with pre-product, pre-revenue companies. And our focus for this time around is including, but not necessarily exhaustive of decentralized finance, NFTs, the metaverse, gaming, and open data. We are quite big on more of data marketplaces and infrastructure, allowing for data to be distributed in a much more equitable way than what is being done now. Also, we're always looking for mentors. And investors to help us enrich the ecosystem. So if you want to join our ecosystem, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Thank you.